Welcome everyone, welcome from the Mount Vernon Public Library, the Mount Vernon Arts Council, and from L.A. Dre. That's what I'll say L.A. Dre. We are so blessed and so honored to have this breathtaking, I've been telling everybody how just breathtaking this exhibit is.
Yes.
17, the revolution will be visualized. One of the inspirational aspects that I had, once it was put up, some of my young people helped Brother Dre with hanging the pieces. So once it was put together, I said, how's everything upstairs? And they shared their emotions to what they saw. Hi, Professor. And to what they shared. And then we had conversations, and that's what this is about. Speaking about injustice. Unfortunately, like was said in the poem, it's not equal for our skin color. It's not, and we know it. And it's a challenge, because I have a young person that wants to be a police officer. Yeah. And we're not discouraging him. We need him, because we need him to equal the playing field for us. Yeah. So it's saying that I just want to say how honored I am that this exhibit is here. And we're hoping that it reaches our young people and that it helps them to express themselves. I think it has begun, that revolution has begun. So I'm going to introduce the curator. André LeRoy Davis is a nationally acclaimed artist. Some of you may know him from The Last Word in the Source magazine, if you're of a certain wonderful age. Then you remember the Source magazine, and you remember each month go into that back page to see what the last word, what satire the last word was going to bring us for the month, so we could discuss it and laugh at it and share the message, and even then have creative and courageous conversations about it. Since then, I have been blessed to know Mr. André LeRoy Davis and the wonderful work he's done. He's been shown all across the nation, West Coast, East Coast. You name it, he's been there. California, Atlanta, New York. We were blessed to meet him through our former mayor, André Wallace. Thank you. Too many Andres now, I'm confused. André Wallace, and just that initial meeting, you know how you think, like, this is André LeRoy Davis, he's gonna just, yeah, little girl, go on. We had such a wonderful conversation about art and about what inspired him to do his art, that he said, yeah, I'll come to your comic expo. Really? And he made our first comic expo. Yeah. We received coverage in all the major newspapers because André LeRoy Davis was going to be there. So my appreciation to him is great. I know to the young people, I try to connect you all. I connected my age group to the Source, but you all read Marvel Comics. Mr. Davis has done many of the covers for Marvel. So he's legit, very legit. But that's just a small portion of his great catalog. I'm so blessed to introduce my friend, Mr. André LeRoy Davis.
All right, so some may disagree with my statement. I'm a man of few words, but I talk on occasion. So this will be one of the times that I talk. I don't know if you read the information over there, but the reason I created this show was after the Trayvon Martin verdict, I was like angry like I never have been in a minute. Because I had nephews that same age during that same time period. And my original idea was just to create art and some pieces for myself, just to get my anger out. But then I said, the whole point is I have a lot of angry friends who are creative. And I wanted to enlist them to tell a bigger story. So if you look at each individual piece, it is an individual story from each artist. But when you put them all together, it tells our story. And my main goal is we have a lot of people who are telling our stories. They're telling our visuals. They're laying down how they think we should be. So why not have us tell our story? Why not have us pass it on to the young heads so they can enlist other soldiers to come in and tell our stories together, united. And for those who are uncomfortable speaking, because as a kid I was very shy. So my way of getting my voice out was to do and create art. So I'm hoping when you see one of these pieces, like I was telling the brother in blue over there, if you are shy and uncomfortable and have a lot of passion inside, but don't know how to get it out, tap a friend. Tell them about the show. Maybe they're more comfortable speaking than you are. So it's about enlisting other people to help give you your voice. And I'm hoping this show gives everybody voices. Makes them comfortable to speak, to ask questions. Because you don't know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So the more you have conversations, the more you learn. You learn different interpretations of things. You learn people's views. You learn what they need to know, and maybe you are the one that can inform them and give them information. So this show 17 is for all of those young brothers and sisters who have not been able to live past the age of 17 to reach maturity, whether it's through street violence, cops, or whatever. That's what this show is about. And I wanted to make a powerful statement where you had pieces that were soothing to your soul, but then you also had pieces that were in your face and hopefully made you angry. And by the time you move to the next piece, like that piece over there with the brother and sister just dancing in the water hydrant, you went from anger to joy. Because that's what life is. It's anger, it's joy, it's all the emotions. And all of these pieces are about emotion. Thank you.
Yeah!
So tell us a little more about some of the individual pieces, why you came up with them and what inspired them.
Well, the whole idea was, like I said, I had my vision, but I didn't want it to be 17 pieces of just my vision. So I reached out to friends, first and foremost. Told them what my concept was, that I wanted their piece to express how they felt about the verdict, how they felt about black youth, how they felt about when they were younger. I wanted them to just tell their story. So I guided the direction, but I didn't guide the piece that they created. Once they gave me their sketches or whatever, I'm like, go for it. Like Brother André back then, holding the camera, one of his pieces is knowledge. He'd have to explain that so you get the actual clear impression of it, but my impression of it was, a brother just trying to do whatever, reading every book that he could, even falling asleep, but, remember that old thing where you would take a book and put it underneath your pillow, and hopefully the knowledge would seep through the pillow into your brain. That's where I, thought he was going somewhat of the degree with all those different books. So that's my interpretation. But I always say when you have the actual artists in the house to ask them what they meant, that's the best time to ask questions. He has another piece over there called Big Dreams. I have 3 pieces in the show currently. I have Blood in My Eye, which actually was an album cover that I did for Ja Rule. But Walmart and Kmart and all that kind of thing got a little fearful of carrying the cover. So I had to do an alternate version, and that actual piece is inside the CD. And then you have the piece called License to Kill, which to me, I was just expressing the fact that if you kill, shoot a young black brother, more or less you're getting away with it. It's like you can go and buy a license. And license to hunt an animal is like $25. So if you can go get a license and kill a black kid, $25, get away with it, because you have that license to kill, it's the American way. So that piece is just all up in your face, because that's what reality is, it's in your face. There's no sweetness with it. So, don't remember your original question, but I just went on.
Can you talk about some of the other artists?
Okay, I'm sure a lot of people saw this piece when Eric Garner got killed. How many years ago was that? It was
2014.
2014? All right, so this is more graphically done, and it was held at protest, and it more or less was, to me, the visual piece that signified Eric Garner. And the piece is by Adrian Franks. He actually does a lot of the art for Spike Lee, a lot of Spike Lee stuff. And it just so happened he was a fan of my work. So he reached out to me. And when I found out he was that artist of this, I was like, I need you in the show. So we found at least 7 times. And this piece is hung, I think, 2 of the shows. So this is the 2nd show that this is hanging in here. So I can't breathe. I mean, that just signifies it all. Another piece over there, Reuben Cheatham. This is a brother armed with pencils. Where it normally would be bullets, he has pencils because, once again, it's all about seeking knowledge. It's arming our youngsters with something that no one can take away from them. That's an education, that's knowledge, that's knowing what's going on. That's being, which everybody uses now, is being awoke, it's being aware. And that's what that piece signifies to me. One of my other favorite pieces is by Gerald Jones, who actually is a Vietnam vet. So that piece, when I saw it, I was like, that has to be in the show. Because it's in your face, but in a soothing way. It brings back memories of just being young, being in the street, enjoying life. And because this is a celebration of kids being killed, and when I say celebration, I mean we're honoring them. My aunt passed away, and we used it as a celebration to honor her last week. So death doesn't always have to be sad. I mean, it's a sad event, but you celebrate that person's life, and and that's just one of the visions that I saw where the Trayvon Martin piece is right next to a celebration and joy. Yeah. When we coming up here,
yeah. Actually, can you just walk around and talk about?
Okay.
The mic's cordless, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Check 1, check 2. Time to take your lane. Which way you want me to just go this way?
Any way you want to go.
All right.
Wherever you're led to.
We'll go to this piece, which is by Ray Williamson, who is known for his comic books and his cartoons and his art. And I'm saying this in a degree being cocky, but I always reach out to my art friends who are cartoonists and versatile. Because for me, cartoonists are probably some of the most versatile artists that I know because they can do serious illustrations, they can do cartooning, they can paint, they can draw. And this is one of his pieces that's just real graphic. And you will get your own ideas from what it means, but you will not miss the point of it. The red, black, and green, the struggle, and there's so much depth to it from the little quotes on the phone, on the gun. This piece next to it is deadly weapons. Some may not understand what all of the weapons signify. There's a little sarcasm in your face on the fact that over there is a wallet. And if you remember Mr. Diallo, the cops thought his wallet was a gun. So that's why that's signified in the piece as one of the weapons. And this actually is done by my older brother, André LeRoy Davis. This is the knowledge piece that I spoke of by Rondé. Rondé, where are you? Can you step out? Yeah, do me a favor. Either this one or Big Dream, your choice. Explain.
Explain both of them.
Yeah, I'll explain both.
Say your name.
So knowledge, basically, knowledge was the first.
Rondé.
Oh,
say your name.
Rondé Calvary is my name. So knowledge was the first piece I created when Dre told me the story about 17, what he was trying to do. And right away, I was just thinking about how we are perceived as ignorant. That's right. But what I know from being young is totally the opposite. I had a whole bunch of friends that were bookworms and cool at the same time. So, like one of my best friends was straight A's all the way from, since I know him, from 9th to high school, 9th to 12th grade, and it was in honor society. But he would always get A's on his tests, do his homework, and he wanted to wear the latest trends and the fashions and everything, but that didn't stop him from doing what he needed to do to excel in his excellence. So knowledge, that's what that's about for me. It's just like, you still can like play both sides of the field, be cool.
Be a cool nerd.
Exactly. And on the other side is big dreams. Now, big dreams is of a little kid who is actually just being consistent.
I'm sorry.
I was watching a documentary. It was sort of a hoop dream documentary, and the thing that happened was I was intrigued with what's going on with the little guy. Now they showed him as a child, and he actually wound up becoming a basketball player. I'm not really too sure what team and who actually the guy was, and that's why I was like, well, who is this guy? So he actually just like kept pursuing his dreams, and the thing they always try to tell you is like, forget them sports. That's not going to do anything for you. But in actuality, it's like if it's sports, if it's wanting to be a doctor, whatever it is, you just stay at it. And like you could have been holding a law book or reading some books, comic books, and it would have been a doctor over there too. So this is basically like a surreal picture where he's dreaming, and in dreams anything can happen. So I just got the adult version of him busting out of the poster, and that's basically what it is. It's just about consistency, follow through with your dreams, and some of us will, some of us won't, but it's up to you. That's all it is.
Appreciate that.
Which piece you want me to talk about? I'm gonna follow your lead.
Well, we're here now.
A couple of these over here?
Yeah.
All right, another piece here from my older brother, 41 Shots. I remember when he painted this was back during the time period when Diallo was killed. He told me the concept that he was gonna do with the flag. He didn't want to put any kind of shots in the actual work, but he still got the point across by having the flag dripping and just running off blood-wise. Next piece over here, red, black, and blue. A lot of the pieces just speak for themselves, so I will not give any deep explanation on it, because some of them I just want you to feel what you feel. I don't want it to be my experience. I want it to be your experience. Above is Blood in My Eye that I spoke about. I just wanted to get across the feel of the 60s, the 50s, that time period, the pain of being black, and some of the last things that certain people's eyes saw. And that was my whole concept and vision behind that piece. When I was discussing what the visuals would look like with Ja Rule, he had a concept for Blood in My Eye, and I said to him, do you trust me since you called me to create this? Then let me just give you the vision that I see. So I'm glad he let me do my vision, because his vision was not like this. So, and that's a piece that I see all over the internet that I don't even post. But people have, I guess people just feel it and understand it, and it speaks to them. All right. Another piece for me would be the wanted posters. That's just my in-your-face, harsh sense of humor. I wanted you to get up close on each piece and read what the wording says. Our kids are being killed for stupid reasons. So I wanted to do artwork that was stupid but in your face, because if you go in and read why they say the kids are wanted and why you should have caution addressing them, it's because they're going to school, they're walking home, they're talking to their friends. Those are some of the reasons that they are wanted as just young black youth trying to live and survive. The piece above it, It's from a comic book called Black. The artist's name is Kyrie Randolph. And one of the things that helps me with these type of shows is the relationships that I have with younger artists. People who grew up appreciating my work. It makes it easy for me to reach out to them and be like, I want you to be in my show. And most of them, without any kind of thought, are down. There's a couple hesitant, but that just means you weren't supposed to be here. Those who were down, like Kyrie, this was the comic book cover for issue number 1. The concept behind the comic book called Black was every black kid, or I think it's the youth, but every kid in this comic book who is black has a superpower. So they are being hunted by the cops, and they have superpowers. So he built in the concept with Trayvon in the hoodie, and the cops are shooting at him. But because he has a superpower, nothing is happening to him. He's there. So if you haven't read that comic book, search for the comic book Black. I think it's up to like 6 issues been finished. It's been compiled. And then the piece Just Do It. That's his twist on the whole Nike concept. I never really explained this piece because I always love to hear what people say. You know, they see a little kid, spotlight on them, boxing gloves. So anybody's concept of it, I love to hear what you think. I never give you my idea on it because once the artist told me what his concept was, it was far from what I was thinking. But you know,
you referenced this one.
Yeah, well, that was the piece that when I made it, it inspired me to reach out to others to do the show. Because me sitting down and doing 17 angry pieces like this, I probably wouldn't have left my house. So this is, like I said, it's in your face. It ties in with License to Kill. If you saw the James Bond movie, got the little James Bonds in the back. I did my research on hunting licenses first, and I saw that in certain states, I think it was like Colorado, a hunting license to go out and kill deer and hunting was like only $25. And that was a time period where they were just shooting black kids left and right, and it was like they had a hunting license and they thought they could get away with it. So I'm like, let me just create a piece. And I always dig deep. If you look at 1619, that's the first year that slaves were brought to America. So my pieces always have stuff inside of them that if you do your research, it'll make you think.
You have a teacher here. You said teacher,
yeah.
Professor?
Yeah.
Would you like to say something?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I really like this one. And
The one that no one can figure out?
Yeah, you know, because when you look at it, it says the deadly art of survival. Yeah. And the fact that he has a light shined on him, but he's forced to fight. So he doesn't keep getting into the ring. So the fact that you're knocked down over and over again. So even with me being a college professor, my goal is to teach our people not only how to write, but how to survive. So one of the references that I give my students is become the bridge that your back is strong enough for someone else to walk over. So that's what that represents for me.
Okay, see, that's why it's best I don't tell you what it.
Yeah, that's what I see.
I like that.
You know, you got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting.
Because a lot of people be like, how is he going to fight? He's got the gloves on. He's holding them back. It's like, well, boxers fight with gloves on.
Yeah.
So you're looking too deep into it. Just go by what you see and bring it to life from there.
Yeah, the fact that he had to fight without the gloves, but this time he decided to put them on. So that's the bigger battle.
I like that.
So I have a question for the youth, and is there anything that inspired you, that you got something from a particular picture that just did it for you and you want to speak about it, or that moved you, and why? Anybody?
Just the whole exhibit. The whole exhibit it's just such an important thing, like just seeing how so many black men and black women just unjustly get murdered, and just taking all of it and not just one thing is really important.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Feel free. This is for y'all. We want to hear what y'all think. Everybody tells us what the youth feel. I want to hear what the youth feel. I want to hear it from y'all. I want everybody to know what y'all feel.
I feel exactly how she felt. I think she described it perfectly. Because you have to take it in as a whole. And once you see that, then you start to understand that these types of things occur more than you realize because we're all distracted by like things like social media, television, Netflix, Hulu, all of that type of stuff. So when you come and you surround yourself by stuff like this, you start to think differently. So I'm happy that this is around so people can think differently. Just take your mind off things.
As an artist, how does this influence you? How does this speak to you?
Well, can I speak to that?
Okay.
Well, I don't really know. Everything speaks to me individually, but it gives me kind of like the energy to make more art, like to express myself more, because I'm not like a person that's constantly drawing, but whenever I feel that, the feeling, that's when I draw, and these are definitely bringing up a lot of emotions. And previously when, what's your name again?
Oh, Andrea Fobbs.
When Andrea Fobbs said what she felt about this painting, it also like sparked like.
Yeah, it's the whole point of each piece is about a link, and it's an idea, and it's an extension not from the artist, but it's an extension, and what it does, it resonates in each one of us. Because I know the first time I came here, and Tashana said, "Oh, go see the art exhibit and tell me which ones were your favorite pieces," I immediately left. And it kind of changed my concept. I have a master's in public administration, and I focus on public policies. And I work for an organization that kind of goes against some things that I believe in. And then I literally said, I got to change the concept because it reminded me that I'm not doing enough. So I couldn't even respond to her the first time I saw the exhibit because I was emotional. And, you know, we keep forgetting that this is our lifeline. These are our seeds. Right. So, you know, something like this, even though it's difficult to you know, continue to forget it, we can't, because the policies are not changing. You know, so it starts with one place that then extends outward. And that's important for you guys to do what you got to do.
We have a teacher here. You said teacher, professor?
Yeah.
Would you like to say something?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I really like this one. And
The one that no one can figure out?
Yeah, you know, because when you look at it, it says the deadly art of survival, and the fact that he has a light shined on him, but he's forced to fight. So he doesn't keep getting into the ring. So the fact that you're knocked down over and over again. So even with me being a college professor, my goal is to teach our people not only how to write, but how to survive. So one of the references that I give my students is become the bridge that your back is strong enough for someone else to walk over. So that's what that represents for me.
Okay, see, that's why it's best I don't tell you what it.
Yeah, that's what I see.
I like that.
You know,
concept.
you got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting.
Because a lot of people be like, how is he gonna fight? He's got the gloves on. It's holding him back. It's like, well, boxers fight with gloves on.
Yeah.
So you're looking too deep into it. Just go by what you see and bring it to life from there.
Yeah, the fact that he had to fight without the gloves, but this time he decided to put them on. So that's the bigger battle.
I like that.
So I have a question for the youth, and is there anything that inspired you, that you got something from a particular picture that just did it for you and you want to speak about it, or that moved you, and why? Anybody?
Just the whole exhibit. The whole exhibit it's just such an important thing, like just seeing how so many black men and black women just unjustly get murdered, and just taking all of it and not just one thing is really important.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Feel free. This is for y'all. We want to hear what y'all think. Everybody tells us what the youth feel. I want to hear what the youth feel. I want to hear it from y'all. I want everybody to know what y'all feel.
I feel exactly how she felt. I think she described it perfectly. Because you have to take it in as a whole. And once you see that, then you start to understand that these types of things occur more than you realize, because we're all distracted by like things like social media, television, Netflix, Hulu, all of that type of stuff. So when you come and you surround yourself by stuff like this, you start to think differently. So I'm happy that this is around so people can think differently. Just take your mind off things.
As an artist, how does this influence you? How does this speak to you?
Well, can I speak to that?
Okay.
Well, I don't really know. Everything speaks to me individually, but it it gives me kind of like the energy to make more art, like to express myself more, because I'm not like a person that's constantly drawing, but whenever I feel that, the feeling, that's when I draw, and these are definitely bringing up a lot of emotions. And previously when, what's your name again?
Oh, Andrea Fobbs.
When Andrea Fobbs said what she felt about this painting, it also like sparked like.
Yeah, it's the whole point of each piece is about a link, and it's an idea, and it's an extension not from the artist, but it's an extension, and what it does, it resonates in each one of us. Because I know the first time I came here, and Tashana said, "Oh, go see the art exhibit and tell me which ones were your favorite pieces," I immediately left. And it kind of changed my concept. I have a master's in public administration, and I focus on public policies. And I work for an organization that kind of goes against some things that I believe in. And then I literally said, I got to change the concept, because it reminded me that I'm not doing enough. So I couldn't even respond to her the first time I saw the exhibit because I was emotional. And, you know, we keep forgetting that this is our lifeline. These are our seeds. So, you know, something like this, even though it's difficult to you know, continue to forget it, we can't, because the policies are not changing. You know, so it starts with one place that then extends outward. And that's important for you guys to do.
Dr. Bob in the house.
So, thank you for giving me the opportunity to join together with the residents of Mount Vernon and broader Westchester to bring to visual form the struggle that we are feeling today. I know it's especially appropriate as we see a resurgence of white supremacy, both in the White House and on the local streets of Westchester County throughout. This art show is part of a tradition of visual arts that traces back to the Harlem Renaissance and even further, by which our people have tried to formulate the values that will steel us for the struggle that we now confront. And I invite everyone, especially the young people, to embrace these more traditional forms of art, but to also experiment with the new forms of art that are made possible through the information revolution in graphics, so that we can begin to mobilize and steel ourselves for the struggle ahead. And I do want to really extend my deepest, sincerest gratitude, not only to the curator of today's show, but also to the trustees of the library for the presence of mind to host this show, because really, everyone, is only when we have the courage and resolve to join together as a community that we're really gonna be able to face this monster.
That's right.
And it is a monster, y'all. Do not in any way underestimate the struggle and the challenge that's ahead of us. And so this is a start, and I thank you all for allowing me to be a part of it.
Well, I got my own little request.
And do me a favor, just say your name again so we have your name. So.
I was just playing, I really don't. Okay. Oh, it's on. When the screen is on? Yeah. Okay, I had that turned off. Okay. So, you know, as a visual art, Rondé Kyrie, once again. Now, as a visual artist, I use pictures to create my images. And it was an image that I wanted to create that me and Dre were talking about. And since I have all you young people here today, I mean, all you kids, young people here today, I want to ask you, can you participate in the reference shot with me? So that's great. So what I'm gonna need you guys to do is just get with me, and we'll line up, and I'm gonna pose you guys, and I'm gonna take the picture, and then I'm gonna paint it. What happened? It was a picture on the Time Life
magazine, and it would say it was enough already, but it was all white kids. And that happened when the shooting or something happened in, where was it?
I forget where it was.
I forget where it was too, but it was enough already, and it was all white kids, and it was like, well, it's been enough already with us, so what's going on with that? So I have to make that happen. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to take the picture of you guys, and then I'm going to paint it, and you guys will see the end result once it's done.
We have a page called Save Mount Vernon, dealing with unsolved murders in Mount Vernon. The list is long, but what I can basically tell the youth to pay attention, follow the law, don't give them a reason, find out what you can do, what you can't do. I'm currently right now with the Public Safety Transition Team in Mount Vernon, working with the police, false community relations, trying to bridge that gap. Letting the police know it's not always their way, but it's also you have to work the community and understanding outside, the youth, the people, the community, because they'll take it to a different level. I'm going to say that, they will. Instances I could say I've been part of, I won't elaborate right now because it may take too long. Many times I've been pulled over, asked for a driving license, not. Get out the car is the first question, but you don't have to. What I can say now, open season, I'll call it duck season if you want to call that. That's what they call it now. But as far as me, y'all have to realize what's going on. Things are not going to get better, they're going to get worse if you don't follow the rules. All I ask you to do is listen to your parents. I know some of the young guys want to do it their way. Most of the police are going to do it their way. Let's follow them. We're trying to start the class right now. Where's the police interbridge with the community? As far as having a monthly meetings, they instruct you what to do, when you're stopped, what not to say, how to act, don't reach, where's your wallet? There's a lot of questions. Most of the youth don't know how to do that. First thing they ask when the cop is stopping them, what you stopped me for? Already, they think that's resisting arrest, and they're going to take appropriate action, which is wrong. So now, with me being on this public safety team, my job is to bridge the police with the community, monthly meetings, and saying what we need on our side. What the bridge, what can y'all do with us? Because like I said, we have a new police commissioner, he wants change. We have a new mayor, she wants change. The only way that could work if they work with the community. It's no more their way. They have to listen to us, our side. My voice will be heard, and it's being heard now. What we need and how we're going to act. Monthly meetings, I said, we're going to definitely have to need that to understand where we're going from, because there's no way. These portraits are saying a whole lot. For me to be my age and see all that, every day I wake up angry sometimes. You don't even know the half of it. For the guys here to point that, Bob, AJ and them here, they done seen a lot. We done felt a lot. So one thing y'all can do is see these pictures here and never forget. Instill this energy into your kids when you do have them, become parents if you do. But one thing I tell you, obey the law and follow these programs that we're going to have in the community. But like I said, follow my page, Save Mount Vernon. Save Mount Vernon means addressing anything and anyone holding Mount Vernon back from moving forward. Any department in Mount Vernon we're going to address. We don't need no more unsolved murders here in Mount Vernon. We're trying to put a hold of that too. So you'll see my face around because I'm going to work on it. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Is there anyone else? I'd just like to recognize, I'm going to let you talk, the Mount Vernon Arts Council. Guys from Mount Vernon Arts Council, please stand. On behalf of the Mount Vernon Trustee Board of the library, I would like to say thank you for coming. And I'd like to thank these wonderful, wonderful young people. How did you like that skit in the beginning? How did you like that? Do you know when they learned that? This morning, today. And they put their own spin on it. Let's give them another hand. And I see the chairperson of the Mount Vernon Public Library, Oscar Davis. Oscar, wave. All right, take a picture of him, please. Somebody, one other person has something to say, very quickly. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, how we doing, everybody? I'll be 30 seconds. My name is André LeRoy, class of 99. I'm a real Mount Vernon Knight. I'm a community advocate. I'm an entrepreneur. And I am just so enthused to be here. And it's the energy. It's the energy that creates. And realize, talking to you guys, realize the future is made by those who create it. The future is not written already. It's yet to be written. And realize we are a part of the story, and we're going to change the narrative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. We're going to let the board president close us out. Oscar Davis Jr. Oscar, give great thanks for these young people. They are amazing.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you for all coming out. I know I'm late, but I was taking care of my mother. But thank you for coming out. I know we're going to be doing something later on in the month.
Oh, yes.
We're going to do something later on in the month, and I'm sure I'm going to be there. And for the kids, I heard that you did a great job. Thank you. Thank you for doing your as great as you do. Kathy Webb, for putting the program together. All right. So I'm going to give the mic back to Miss Judy Williams.
So as Mr. Davis says, later on next month, we're going to have a panel discussion. We'll let you know the date, the place is here, and we'll let you know the time. So we want to all start a conversation, because with the conversation we come up with solution, and with solution we come up with action.
What's the panel discussion going to be about?
The panel discussion will be our first in a series this year. We are so grateful that André LeRoy Davis and his team, we're calling it Courageous Conversations. So our first courageous conversation is to discuss police brutality, is to discuss racism, classism, and injustices in our society. How do we unite? How do we build? How do we fight? Jesse Van Loo had mentioned some things that we should do. It saddens me that we have to teach our children how to behave when you're pulled over.
Survive.
And just to survive. Baby, do this because I don't want you shot. That's not taught in Eurocentric schools. They don't have to be taught that lesson, because they are taught that it's you own the police. They are to serve you. Where we're taught we're the victims and we have to be extra careful just to make it out of the situation in one piece. So that's a courageous conversation. I want to talk about it. Maybe someone disagrees with me. Let's talk about it, because that's what conversations are about. It's not always about my opinion. It's maybe Brother Jonathan, he's a JD, he's a lawyer extraordinaire. He may have a different perspective. So this, and this will be the first of topics we'd like to do for this year. So this will be our first topic of the Courageous Conversation series. So we're getting the date together, and I hope to see all you beautiful people out there. I'd like to thank Dr. Bob. I saw Dr. And I was going to say, he was right there. And I'd like to thank Brother Jeff, my inspiration. We have the best conversations. I'd like to thank my brother, AJ Woodson. Yes, he is my brother. He scolds me when he's just like a big brother that I never had. And I know now I know why I didn't want brothers, because he scolds me when I need it. But I know that no matter what, his arms are always around me. So thank you, AJ. To Connie, you here somewhere? Yeah. She is my inspiration. To the Board of Trustees, I believe Trustee Williams Davis is here, our Board President Oscar Davis. Without their support, we cannot have these programs. 10, 12 years ago, we couldn't even think to have programs like this in this building. So it's because of their courageousness that we now can bring these issues, because this is a place of information, so we can bring this information to the masses. And of course, to my kids, you all did such a good job. I am so proud of you. And I'm like the hymn, but I was like, speak up, do this. And they just came in. Wasn't it beautiful?
Yes.
They inspired me, so thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, their refreshments, the artists are here. Brother Andre's here. Where's Brother Rondé? Brother Rondé's here. So please feel free to talk to them. Grab yourself some refreshments. We'll put the music back on and enjoy your evening here at your Mount Vernon Public Library.